Hey guys, welcome back. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know how bullish I have been on Micron. The trade has been legendary. And with Micron's HBM4 already shipping in volume for Nvidia's Vera Rubin systems, the fundamentals behind this company remain rock solid. But as a disciplined investor, we have to keep our eyes on the horizons. We have to look for signals in today's market to understand tomorrow's trade. We cannot just focus on today's orders. And in my opinion, we are witnessing an evolution in the AI memory market. Let me show you this article I saw on Forbes that talked about the 5 trends driving memory to the forefront of AI scaling. What we are seeing right now is a move, a shift from a one-size-fits-all HBM for everything era into it is maturing into a more sophisticated hierarchy. We are seeing this evolution towards a clear memory hierarchy. On one side of that, you have scale. HBM for high bandwidth working sets, and now that is gaining a more permanent high capacity neighbor in high bandwidth flash for inference scale models. But on the other side of the hierarchy, you have speed, a push towards more on-chip SRAM, which Google, Nvidia, and other inference specialists are investing billions into to slash latency and data movement. This isn't HBM disappearing. It's HBM finding its natural place in a smarter stack, complemented by faster and denser tiers around it. And if you don't understand this evolution, you may end up being overweight in one side of the trade, or maybe a bit overweight as we head into the next earnings cycle. So today, we're going to break down the physics of this bifurcation that we see in the trade and how to rebalance the full AI stack. So let's dive in. Let's get into the video. Let's talk about this concept of memory hierarchy. If you haven't done it already, hit like, hit subscribe to the channel, guys. We are only about 150 subscribers away from that 7,000 goal we set for the end of this month. I appreciate each and every one of you on this channel for all your support and engagement. Thank you very much. Let's dive into the video and let's talk about the first side, which is just the physics behind this bifurcation. And to understand this shift, we have to understand the big shift in the market. We've talked about it on this channel a bunch, but we are no question about it, moving from the training phase into the inference phase, into the agentic AI phase. That is what we're seeing in real time in the market. And to consider that, we have to understand that training was all about raw capacity. Inference, especially agentic AI that reasons and acts on our behalf, that demands speed and low latency. Think of HBM as a library. Excellent for holding trillions of parameters, but it's off chip. So every data fetch costs power, time, and generates heat. Then when you have to take a look at SRAM, consider that as the workbench right in front of the engineer, etched directly into the silicon, orders of magnitude faster for hot data. Google's new TPU-8i triples on-chip SRAM to 384 megabytes precisely for this reason, to keep KV cache for long context reasonings on chip and reduce stalls overall. They aren't ditching HBM though. They are building a smarter stack where HBM handles the working set and SRAM accelerates the thinking. This is why Nvidia integrated Grok's SRAM-centric LPU technology into the Vera Rubin platform. For agentic AI to feel instantaneous, like we all want it to, you can't afford to wait for HBM round trips for every token. Therefore, the alpha right now, one of the biggest alphas that we see in the market, and we've talked about it because of this hierarchy we're seeing, is the shift towards companies mastering the advanced packaging. So you think of companies like TSMC, Intel, and 2 that I've been talking a lot about on the channel, Amkor and ASE Technologies. These companies integrate the SRAM and the HBM and emerging tiers simultaneously. They are one of the big alphas in the trade right now overall. And then we have to focus a little bit and shift gears and talk about a massive player that is confirming this split, this evolution in the market right now. And that massive player is Google. And they are doing with billions of dollars. You probably have seen them, all the headlines recently talking about their partnerships overall. Google is no question about it. They are moving. You can see here, most recently, a few days ago at the Cloud Next 2026, Google Cloud bifurcates the AI future. They announced that they're launching 2 new TPUs, an 8T and an 8i, one specifically for training and one specifically for inference. So Google, interestingly enough, is actually showing us a path to the memory hierarchy that we're going to see. They didn't launch one chip, like I said. They launched two, one for training and one for inference. Now let's go deeper into the Google Cloud. This isn't just about the TPU 8i. It's about a massive strategic shift Google just unveiled at the Cloud Next 2026 meeting earlier this week. Their focus now is clearly agentic independence. Google is moving away from being seen as just a service provider and moving towards becoming known as a sovereign AI infrastructure. They announced 3 massive partnerships that have changed the game for them. The first one was a Broadcom. They actually locked in Broadcom for through 2031. They extended their custom TPU deal or partnership with Broadcom. Broadcom, as you know, is the architect behind the boardfly topology. They are the ones that are physically gluing that 384 megabytes of SRAM right onto the HBM stacks. If you want to play the Google pivot, you have to follow the Broadcom revenue. The second partnership we see in the market is one with Nvidia, and you can see it clearly here. Nvidia and Google Cloud expand the AI collaboration with new infrastructure. So you may think that why would Google partner with Nvidia? They're building their own custom chips, and that's true. Google is building their own chips, but Google is also the first cloud provider to deploy the Nvidia Vera Rubin GB300 racks. This confirms the hybrid thesis that we talked about at the beginning of the video, because even Google still needs massive HBM-heavy NVIDIA fleets for training their frontier model. Even with all their work that they're doing and what they're dedicating towards the SRAM, they still need those heavy HBM racks for their frontier model. So thesis is being proved in real life right there. And then the last partnership, let me pull up. It's a partnership that Google is doing with Intel. Intel extends Google partnership for AI infrastructure. This is a move where we see Google is their new Axion ARM-based CPU, which was developed in deep collaboration with Intel. It shows how they are optimizing the entire motherboard to reduce bottlenecks. Google is now optimizing for efficiencies. They are working to reduce how much power it takes to generate each answer. So Google's pivot is massive overall, and it's beyond just those 3 partnerships. We see partnerships of $1 billion with Merck, the healthcare company. We also see a separate partnership with Anthropic for a TPU deal. This honestly deserves its own deep dive video, and I'm going to put one together. I'm working on one right now, a dedicated Google strategic briefing video that I plan to drop at some point next week. So make sure you have your notifications turned on so you don't miss that one. But for right now, the takeaway is clear. Google is the first major hyperscaler to successfully implement the hierarchical memory stack at scale. Now let's add the third layer of the bifurcation, which is high bandwidth flash. And you can see here, back in February, you know that SK Hynix and SanDisk, they teamed up to standardize high bandwidth flash. And you can see below that high bandwidth flash aims to deliver high bandwidth memory-like speeds with much higher capacities. So this was a big, massive partnership overall that we saw. And you can think of high bandwidth flash like the HBM for NAND. HBM is too expensive to store the world's data, and that's why high bandwidth flash exists. High bandwidth flash stacks NAND flash just like HBM with 10x the capacity at a fraction of cost. In a 2026 rack, the GPU talks to SRAM for speed. SRAM talks to the HBM for context, and the HBM talks to the high bandwidth flash and SSDs for cold bulk storage. These 3, it's all around the orchestration of all of this, the symphony of all of this to get the outputs that we want. This is why Micron's exit from the consumer business was so strategic. They're pivoting their NAND production to high margin enterprise Gen 6 SSDs. And we can see it clearly here in an announcement that they made, that Micron's world's first PCI Gen 6 SSD doubled data rates for AI data centers. This was a massive move for Micron. It's also part of the reason why I continue to be bullish on this company overall, the leadership moves that we see, because Micron isn't just a DRAM company anymore. They are working to become a total memory solution company. Now let's talk about the iron hedge. Because if you want to play the storage side of this pivot, you have to look at either Western Digital or Seagate. After their split with SanDisk, Western Digital is now a pure play on the HDD supercycle. While the market fights over whether SRAM or high bandwidth memory wins the thinking part of AI, Western Digital and Seagate are winning the memory part. Regardless of the architecture, the massive data lakes that feed those models still live on high capacity drives. If you want the NAND IP and the move into high bandwidth flash, that's where you have to look at the newly independent SanDisk. They are the ones partnering with SK Hynix to build that next gen flash stacks that will or could eventually challenge the HBM capacity. In addition, SanDisk, we know they extended their partnership with Kioxia out into the 2030s range. So many bullish moves, and they have their earnings call coming up on April 30th, which I think they're going to pass $5 billion in revenue in the quarter. So SanDisk is an excellent play in the market right now as well. But what does all this mean for Micron, though? With all this change in the architecture around them, with the high bandwidth flash, with SRAM, does it change our case for Micron? Is the bull case dead? Absolutely not. I just want to show you one additional picture to talk to you a little bit how Micron is evolving. Both their HBM4s, you can see it's in high volume production right now for NVIDIA's Vera Rubin platform. But also below, we have Micron's 192 gigabyte SOCAMM, and they're also mass producing the 256 gigabyte SOCAMM right now, which is designed for the NVIDIA Vera Rubin NLV72 and the NVIDIA Vera Rubin CPU platforms. So guys, this is a big move overall because they're moving the memory controller into the stack. So think about my analogy I gave in the beginning about a library and a workbench. They're trying to make the HBM not the library, but actually the workbench. And the other reason I'm bullish, I continue to be bullish on Micron, is though, even though we're starting to see some of this data center bifurcation and the architecture change, we're also starting to see the AI PC and smartphone market start to blossom. And Micron's 192 gigabyte and 256 gigabyte, the SOCAMM 2 modules that are now in high volume production, that is a perfect fit for NVIDIA's Vera CPU platforms. This brings server-grade bandwidth to the PC and to the workstation. If you believe AI is moving from the cloud to the local device, the SOCAMM 2 is the only way to do it efficiently. This is Micron's moat. While others fight in the cloud, Micron is positioning for the edge. Micron is attempting to own the replacement cycle for over 300 million PCs that need to run local AI. This is a massive revenue driver that the data center only crowd is totally ignoring. It's a huge strategic pivot, a very smart leadership move by Micron. So how do we adjust? We aren't just going to abandon our ship. We're upgrading our engines right now for a world where speed, scale, and density are all fighting for the same silicon real estate. The pivot will truly come in 2027. And in my mind, there are 4 tactical choices that we could do. First one is all around the ASICs play. If you're heavy in Micron right now, you should consider balancing your portfolio with a bit of the architects play. Broadcom and Marvell are 2 that come to my mind. They are ones that are designing the custom controllers that tell the SRAM when to talk to the HBM. They are the toll booth collectors for this entire hierarchical memory shift that we're seeing. The second is all in packaging. The most defensible way to play the SRAM HBM bridge is through advanced packaging. I would watch TSMC, Intel, Amkor, and ASE technology, as I mentioned. As memory moves onto logic dies like HBM4, the glue, the CoWoS, and the hybrid bonding becomes the most valuable part of the physical stack. If chips are getting more complex, the packagers will win first. The next play is all around the high bandwidth flash storage play. Keep your eye on the iron hedge. Our core positions right now in Western Digital and Seagate are safe havens. But for the NAND IP and the high bandwidth flash, look for SanDisk and potentially Kioxia and the new DRAM ETF. And finally, it is the edge AI specialist. This is the bull case 2.0 for Micron, I will say. Don't ignore the SOCAMM 2 replacement cycle. While the data center trades get crowded, the edge, the smartphones, the PCs, that is blue ocean for Micron. Watch the PC shipment data. If we see a super cycle in AI-ready laptops, Micron's SOCAMM 2 volume will drive a revenue beat that the data center-only analysts aren't currently modeling into the market right now. The era of brute force is over. We are in the era of hierarchical memory. We have made money on brute force. Now we need to make money on the architecture. Speed, scale, and density should be our themes that run through our head. If you're not positioned across all 3, you are still early in the cycle, but you're a little late in the strategy. So it might be time to catch up, in my opinion. Guys, that's my thoughts for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop your comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are, but I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Have a great night.